people keep talking about, and that's Lee Priest. And Lee Priest, in conversation with respect to me, there is no conversation. I mean, Lee had some body parts. He had phenomenal calves, big flaring quadriceps, hamstrings that didn't match up in terms of the detail nor the definition, and a very weak back. Along the lines of a labrada in terms of not having that density or the separation, always a film of water and fat on the backside. And from the front, very strong muscularity, a very weak upper pecs in general. His arms were overpowering, very good shoulders, but there were body parts, and in its totality, it wasn't a physique that was ever going to beat me, never did. And it didn't beat a lot of guys that I was routinely beating throughout my career. I beat Nasser, I beat Kevin Levrone, I beat Flex Wheeler, I beat Paul Dillette. All of those guys, Lee Priest never beat. As a matter of fact, I believe Lee got Paul Dillette once. So when you say you're only as good as your competition, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Chris Cormier, they all are some of the winningest bodybuilders in the world when you combine how many victories they have throughout their careers. And I look back and say, these are guys I've beaten in head-to-head competition on the biggest contest stage in the world. So if you take that physique and you drop it into the 212, where you have guys that are my size, I'm not afraid of a James Flex Lewis. I'm certainly not looking over my shoulder at a Lee Priest, or Ali Labrada, or Mohammed Makaway. The guy I'd be looking at would be Samir Banu. Out of all the guys out there at 212 and under, Samir Banu in 1983 would be my chief competition. That's a physique that would be dangerous, and that would be a physique I'd be afraid of. It was a physique that I beat in the 1988 Mr. Olympia, my first time up. He's a little bit older than I am, but he was there as a competitor, and I got that feather in my cap. So it's open for debate now. People can pick and choose who they like or they don't like, but my track record is clear. I stood up against the best in the world. I wasn't categorized in a division that was limited by how tall I was or what my weight was. I stood amongst the giants, and I took them out. And from Rich Gaspari to, Mike Christian, Vince Taylor, Muhammad Benaziza, another guy under 212 pounds that people like to talk about that never beat me. Nasser El Sambadi and Paul Dillette, the biggest of the big. These are guys that the other 212-pound guys and under would have a struggle to beat. And I beat them throughout my career. So let's fast forward to today and put James Flex Lewis and myself on a stage next to each other. His best physique and my best physique. I think we'd be hard-pressed to take James' best physique and stick it into the top three lineup of any of those Olympias that I was in the top three. So for that reason, by default, he is out. I'm in. I am the champion. Once I sleep well at night knowing I don't have a Sandow trophy, and I'm in the company of Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Chris Cormier. So there you have it. The greatest of all times. The greatest of all times.
Placed top 5, or Shawn forgets 97 I was top 5, and then they changed the scoring after the show. So the only reason Shawn would place ahead of me was Shawn, like you see his face is brown. It's not because he's a black guy, it's because it's the shit from all the fucking arse he's kissed. The fucking just stained his skin. Shawn is the fucking whitest guy you'll ever fucking meet, or he wants to be white. But no, Shawn's just always had a thing in. Shawn's one of those guys, he's a big talker anywhere, but face to face he won't say shit. Yeah, but he goes, Lee who? I remember Lee Haney and Lee Labrada. Who's this other Lee you talk of? And then he just went on the same sort of thing. Well, he never did this, he never beat me. No, because I think we did the 90, I think he was in the 98 Olympia. And then it's like, you look at the pictures on me side by side, you can't say he was a better bodybuilder. It's like I said, if I came up through the NPC like he did, and fucking brown nosed my way from day one, kissing ass, doing whatever, being the high, you know, the fucking ass kisser that he is. You ask any other bodybuilder, Paul Dillette, all these guys, they fucking hated him because he's like a fucking rat. It's like that guy, if you fucking get caught with drugs, he'll turn you in just to save his own ass. What was the story about him fucking sailing his own mother down the thing about his mother went to jail because the drug turned up at her place and shit like that, so his mother got in trouble for it and he didn't give a shit. Shawn's just all about Shawn. He's been that way from day one. Everybody you ask that knows Shawn says he's an arsehole. So, you don't just get that reputation for nothing, so that's the way Shawn is, and he'll just continue on being that. Oh, he wants to say he's outspoken, he's this, he's that. Shawn is another one that's just out for Shawn. So he can talk to you sure he wants about me. The sad thing is, Shawn, you're still fucking talking about me, aren't you? You don't even cross my fucking mind. I don't even think of you. I think about dog shit more than I think about Shawn Ray. The only time I think about Shawn Ray is something like this. You ask me a question about him, or the other day when someone tagged me in the thing on Instagram about, look what Shawn's saying about you. There you go. But apart from that, I wouldn't even, like I said, I wouldn't even think of him, not at all, but yet for some reason he still thinks of me, so what a shame for Shawn Ray. What a sad little man. Oh well. And he can't say you're the best there because you got to have fair judging to be the best. So, you know, people are always going to say, yes, he had nice physique, which he did. He had a great bodybuilding body, came in great shape all the time. You know, each year he was always consistent, sort of like Dexter Jackson is today. Shawn Ray was like that back then. He was always consistent in his thing, but a lot of Shawn's placings were because of he was the biggest ass kisser around and fucking brown noser. So really, you can't say you're the best when there isn't fair judging. So. See, with that, people are going to say, like on the thing, Lee was more freaky, which I had more freaky body parts than him, and he was more like the classical style and that sort of thing. You wouldn't say he was a freaky bodybuilder, but he had nice lines and came in good shape. So, you know, not taking nothing away from Shawn Ray as a bodybuilder. He was a great bodybuilder, probably one of the best in his day back then. Maybe he should have won the Olympia too, but he didn't. But like I said, the bodybuilder Shawn is great. The Shawn the person, the guy who says he's religious and shit like that. Yeah, how religious are you, Shawn? You forget, I travel the world just like you. I go to many places just like you. You've come to Australia, Shawn, and the same people that took you around, I know. So when they tell me what you've done when you're away from your family and wife and shit, you know, don't go preaching God and shit when you're a fucking hypocrite, okay? Yeah, wanting to be with the fitness girls and shit like that and get hooked up when you're overseas in Europe and shit. So let's not fucking play the stupid game here, Shawn, okay? You want to make out like you're fucking holier than thou with your loving family and shit? Yeah, okay. Play that game all you want, but deep down you fucking know the truth. You're a fucking cunt and an arsehole. And as a person, you're a piece of shit. The colour of your skin matches who you are. The colour of shit. But really, if I was shit, I'd be happy because shit would turn white in a couple of days. You're not. You're going to stay brown like the piece of shit you are. So there you go, Shawn Ray. You know, he might not like somebody. Oh, actually, say he does like you. Say he was best friends with Paul Dillette, one of the promoters, or Jim Manuel was talking bad about Paul Dillette. He'll join in and go, oh yeah, Paul. Yeah. Just to be on the good side. Now, he wouldn't stick up for his mate, say, no, that's not right. You know, Paul's a good guy. Shawn just goes with the flow to benefit Shawn. So if Shawn thinks he can get his little foot in that door to make himself a better person, he will. He'll walk over anybody, family members included. So, like I said, as a bodybuilder, great physique, but as a human being and person in general, fucking piece of shit. And like I said, most bodybuilders that know Shawn will say the same thing. Fucking piece of shit. They'll tolerate him and maybe say hello to him and that, but I've been there when people have said hello to Shawn, and sadly when Shawn walks off, they're like, what a fucking arsehole. They'll probably say the same thing about me, but at least I'm not fake. I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not, or I don't change who I am depending on what group I'm around to fit in with that crowd, where Shawn does, sadly. So, oh well. Shawn's got to live with that. If Shawn's such a big believer in God, when he gets to the pearly gates and the fucking gates slam shut in his face, poor you fucking Shawn Ray.